Good morning. It is November 3rd, 2025. Time for a weekly check-in. I'm James S. Aaron, and if you've never been to my channel, I talk about writing, the creative life, and trying to make those things happen when you've also got a whole lot of other life commitments happening. So these check-ins are where I share my weekly progress on whatever I'm working on. In this case, I'm currently working on finishing a novel in the Aeon 14 universe called This Is Vengeance. And what's been difficult about this novel is I've been working on it since 2022. And I just went through a very challenging period in my life and taking care of my mom who has dementia and a bunch of other family things that came up. And so I've finally been getting back into it. And every time I start making good progress, I kind of run into a thing that, like, oh, I forgot that, or I need to fix that. Or in this case, I found two chapters in the first third of the book that I had not written, so I need to go back and fix those parts. And really, there's just a major movement in the book that I need to go back and kind of work through all over again. So maybe someone who's has not been writing on the schedule that I have in the past might think, well, 3 years seems pretty normal for a novel, but this is a series that I used to be able to get a book done in 3 to 4 months. So it has really been unfortunate that I haven't been able to get it finished and people email me about it, and I really do not want to leave the story hanging. So it's important to me to get it done. So I finished the last update at, I think, 84,000 words, and right now I'm at 87,000. The thing is, with those two chapters I just found, that kind of creates opportunity to add even more to the story. But that's what I'll be working on this week. And it looks like I have a relatively slow week at work. We'll see. I don't know. Every time I think that, it doesn't really work out that way. A couple things popped up last week that I hadn't accounted for, which was Halloween and getting ready for Halloween. My daughter dressed up as Rumi from K-pop Demon Hunters, and I made her a sword that took some time, and I'm really glad I did that because it turned out super cool. I also made a Mandalorian helmet for a friend of ours, and that was something I'd never done before, so that was fun. And then my writers group did their annual reading, and so I needed to write a flash piece for that, and I did most of that on Tuesday before the reading actually happened. I guess Monday and Tuesday. But still, it took brain space away from other stuff that I should have been working on. I mean, I'm actually pretty happy with that story. It's going to get critiqued by the group on Tuesday, so we'll see how that turns out. I think it has too much world building in it for a flash piece, but we shall see. Reading wise, it's kind of been fits and starts. I'm working my way through Lexicon by Max Berry, which is sold as a thriller, and I like the book, but it also took me a while to really get hooked into it. And I've been listening to it and going back and forth with the print book, like I do with a lot of books these days. In fact, most of them, I guess I should say ebook is what I've been reading. And it's really interesting to me how you don't get a lot of aspects of how the prose is set up in the ebook, and it really depends on how good the narrator is. In this case, it switches between two narrators, and there have been some challenges in the timeline going back and forth. I think that's where a lot of my confusion, or I shouldn't even say confusion. I mean, it makes sense. Like, and that might have been more clear if I was reading the book versus listening to it. But now that it's finally coming together, and I'm in the last third of the book, I'd say it's it's clicking. I've got some thoughts about it, as well as thriller versus science fiction, because some of the ideas in it I think are not necessarily as fresh as a lot of the reviews think they are, but it's still done well. And the author Barry obviously made some choices about these ideas that I've been thinking about, because there are times where this book almost seemed like it could turn into a Harry Potter, like, academy thriller type thing, but it got out of that pretty fast. So, so yeah, I look forward to finishing that book this week. And looking forward to the rest of this week, writing wise, daylight savings time happened. And so in fall, we fall back here in Oregon land. If you're listening to a part of the world that doesn't do daylight savings time, I saw people celebrating that online. I have actually found, like, I actually got up at 4:30 this morning as opposed to, struggling at 5, and that gave me time to get things ready before I came out to the office at 5. Got the animals all fed and everything was good there. And I'm just continuing the streak of my health feeling good. So being able to wake up, feeling focused when I wake up, really being able to sit down and do something immediately. Like I just feel so fortunate that that has come back. One major thing that I finally got approved last week that I've been working on for a while is my health is the thing I've been concerned about. Obviously, I'm talking about it. So something I wanted to be, upfront about because it could certainly affect my writing is I got a prescription approved for Zepbound, which is a GLP-1 drug. And I'm about 80 pounds overweight. If I, lost that, I would get back down to a healthy weight where I was when I left the army, which is funny because it was still considered overweight for the army. That's the army for you. But I don't know how this is going to affect me. And I've heard a lot. I've been reading a lot about it. Obviously there are stomach side effects and then different mental side effects that people talk about. Some people talk about clarity. Others are really focused on the fact that they, have diarrhea all the time. So I don't know what's going to happen there, but that is the thing that I should be getting that in the mail in the next couple days, and I'll probably take it on Friday or Saturday. So I have the weekend to get used to it. But that's a thing that I'll be talking about. And yeah, sorry for mentioning bathroom stuff, but that is a big part of the side effects for that. And we'll see how much I can tolerate it. But it's a thing I need to fix. I think I mentioned in the last show that I have, two friends that died recently that just got into their 50s, and my mother has dementia. My dad keeps ticking along, but his body is definitely having a lot of challenges. And I would like to not have that happen to me. So I need to put effort into my health and my wellness because I still have, time ahead of me. And I certainly don't want my daughter, either of them, to be in the place where I am now, taking care of my parents. And maybe it's inevitable, but at least I can plan for it. So yeah, I mean, a big part of the last 4 years for me has been the fact that my parents have not planned for their old age at all. And there's just sort of an expectation that, my brother and I and my stepsister and brother are just supposed to step in and take care of it. And then you get a lot of pushback when you do what you can do. And maybe that's part of my mental well-being right now is I have also just kind of said, hey, if you don't want my help, I'm not going to force it on you. And I don't force it. So it's a future problem that will happen when it happens. The only thing that's happening in the background, I think I've mentioned, is we have to sell my mom's house. And so we had gone through a whole renovation process on that. It's been rented. Looking back now, I'm thinking maybe we should have just sold it when we had the opportunity when it was first renovated. But I had hoped that we'd be able to kind of cash flow my mom's money longer. That's not going to be the case, and also the longer it's going to take to sell it, we may end up having a lien against it from whatever state money that she uses. So, I don't know, but also it's my problem and I'm managing it, but it's also kind of not my problem. I need to do the best by my mom that I can. And so that's a thing that is weighing on my mind a bit. But also in the writing that I'm doing, I want it to be fun. Every time I look at it, I think like, is this cool? I've found myself in writing scenes and chapters. I'm not ending them on cliffhangers as much as I might have in the past. I want to follow it all the way through for that beat in the story because that's kind of what I want right now. I want a story that goes all the way through, or at least a part of the story, and gets to some kind of conclusion. And I kind of want the same thing from a chapter. So that has been a slight shift in the way I've been writing chapters, and it's a thing that I'm thinking about as I go back through this book. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited about the week ahead, and we'll see what kind of work we can get done. So thanks again for hanging out with me, and I'll have a book review coming soon on Lexicon by Max Berry. So yeah. All right, I'll see you next time. Later.